Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Welcome
Let's
back,
go.
traders. I'm so happy to see you guys.
I'll wake up.
Slap the like button. And today we're going to be talking about AMC and GameStop, going over the earnings as well as some of the technical analysis of what I expect next week, right? Early next week is going to be a very, very, very important time. Oh, that. Oh, God. That's why I never eat McDonald's. Literally kills you. Don't do it. But that aside, guys, we're going to be talking about AMC and GameStop, some of the technicals, and why I believe it's going to go the direction that it is next week. And I just want to start off the top, off the rip, right, with Bitcoin. Now, this is related to AMC and GameStop, I promise. Bitcoin, oftentimes when crypto has a green weekend or at least a green Sunday, you often open up green. This is a good thing for the bullish sentiment of the market and good for the S&P 500 as well as IWM, right? You look at IWM in the dumps, terrible, terrible weekly candle and a rejection of that 9-day EMA. What I expect here is a pretty nice move if you're able to come down on the daily, right? On the daily, let's go to the daily. On the daily for this, the worst case scenario, in my opinion, is you come down to 242, you tap the 200-day EMA, and then you make a wicked, wicked bounce. But something I wanted to talk about on IWM as well, which relates to GME and AMC, is the bullish divergence on IWM. I didn't talk about this in our last video for AMC and GameStop, but I will now. You can see very clearly on this stock, if you look right about... Oh no! Go back. There we go. You can see very, very clearly here. Bullish divergence on the daily time frame, right? Higher low and a lower low on the RSI. Typically, what that means is the RSI is resetting for you to then go make a move higher. Now, what gets me bullish is this is the lowest you've been on the RSI since November, right? And we all know what happened in November. The exact same thing. You had a touch of hidden bullish divergence, and then you went up 18% on the index, guys. So that looks really, really nice for the index and bodes well for S&P 500, Bitcoin, right? All of these other indexes that are so dramatically oversold. I do believe the best is yet to come. I think the end of March, early April, hopefully is a green month. But guys, if it is not, right, what should we expect? What I'm watching for on the short term, if we go to GME, is I'm watching for what happens tomorrow. Truthfully, it is as important as what happens tomorrow because nobody's really talking about this. You are at such a pivotal point in the stock's history right now, about to either rip ass off of this golden cross off of this golden cross. You're about to rip, guys, or you're about to dump and fill these gaps. And there's not a lot of room for the in-between because of how volatile the stock often gets once you trade and test these macro indicators. The golden cross is one of the most looked at, one of the most traded indicators on the stock market. And so the fact that you are there on GameStop is such a beautiful thing. So now we watch, right? The gap fill is sitting at currently 21.93 as well as, what is that low one? 21.25. And I could see a world in which you go back, right? You fail to cross above, make a higher low, right? And then you make your higher high. And that is very, very possible as well. As you look at this broader structure on GME, you could see a higher low, higher high. This was a higher high. Higher high. Now you're making your third higher high. Hopefully, we shall see. And talking about GameStop, before I get into the due diligence, the tinfoil, I'd appreciate it if you guys slap the subscribe button, hit the like button, because that helps the algorithm push the channel. And we're on our way to 2K subs, guys. I'm going to try to be here genuinely for you guys every day if I can be, because we are growing this from the ground. All right, enough of the silly business. GameStop, upcoming earnings report. I just wanted to ask Grok, What is the most likely scenario for GameStop's earnings report? I actually haven't even read this, so let's read it together. Is estimated to release between March 24th and March 31st of 2026, with several sources pointing towards unconfirmed dates. So that is what it is, right? GameStop often doesn't even do a press conference, so I would not be surprised to see that happen. With consensus EPS earnings ranging from 0.8 to 37 cents per share, and revenue projections around 1.2 billion to 1.47 billion. Year over year, this would reflect contracting revenue amid ongoing store closures and a challenging retail gaming environment, but potentially stable or improving profitability due to cost controls, guys. And that is the most important part here. If you're talking GameStop squeeze, right? Due to cost controls. GameStop has been frequently closing stores, and in doing so, guys, you've seen revenue take a little bit of a dive, but the cost cutting towards profitability has been so immense, right? You go into Webull and you can open up the financial portion of this. If you guys didn't know, you can go to income statement or you go to balance sheet, right? But I like income statement because that shows you your net income year over year and the percentage, guys. The actual profitability that GameStop is showing is insane. And to be doing this just like that, right? And to be in the same spot on the charts, I think that's also one of the biggest key takeaways here is you are at the exact same spot on this chart, guys. On this chart. You are on the exact same spot that you were January of 2022. Now, we know that GameStop is in a insanely better position than it was in January of 2022, right? Your short interest is still high. Your days to cover are still high, right? 16% and 12% respectively. And so when you are doing something as important as you are doing now, it is, for me, inevitable that volatility will occur and this range will eventually break. And when it does break, I think you guys know what direction I think it will break. And I think once it gets up here, right, this is not us. This is short sellers now. And I think it tells a very clear story that when you come after these companies, right, you maliciously short these companies, there are repercussions if the stock fundamentals turn around. And I think that's what's happening here on GameStop. So I freaking love it, right? So beautiful chart. I do think Monday will be green because of the stock or because of cryptocurrency market being up 2%, Bitcoin rallying and about to get its MACD weekly cross, which is bullish for GameStop. I wanted to talk about AMC as well before we wrap this up. AMC as well, and just highlight, right, the top level balcony view of this chart, right? It's ugly. It's ugly. But when you look at this chart, you could see a couple different gap fills, and these are macro targets for AMC right now. But what we're watching here for AMC is the macro gap fills, currently sitting at 43.32. The second one sitting at 19.40, and then there's one left over from the gap down in September of 2023, sitting at $13. But the overall macro chart, I do expect you to make one more lower low because of the terrible weekly close at an all-time low of 108. Whether or not that's a bottom at $1 or what it is, but you need volume to step in here as well as a bullish weekly candle close. And until that happens, right, not much is going to be different. Your short interest on AMC, though, still sitting super high at $24 and a 5 days to cover if there were to be any kind of short squeeze. Beyond that, on the quarterly chart, this is what we've been watching for AMC for quite some time, is you have this falling wedge pennant formation as well as a quarterly MACD cross about to happen for the first time since 2021, which I find fascinating because the last time this happened, you had a 400 back-to-back quarterly candles. So not much else to talk about besides for that when it comes to AMC, but genuinely I do believe that a lot of the debt restructuring is going to help and aid the long-term picture of this stock. So beyond that, guys, not much else to talk about. So make sure to slap the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share it with a friend. God bless each and every single one of you guys, and peace.